Hakadosh Boker Or Bekiim Bahalacha 6, day 37, page 95, Siman Kuf Samechet 158, Halacha Nun 50. We're talking about now today yogurt and or lebanon. We're going to speak about in salt, right, in a beverage, and barbecued meat juices. Okay, so let's start. Okay, Hamtabel ma'achal beleben or yogurt. If you're going to come and you're going to dip a food in lebanon or yogurt, so it's like you're doing it in milk because obviously it comes from milk. But if you're doing it in cheese, you don't have to do netilat yadayim. Now, why? So let's explain. 42. Mate Yosef, quoted by the Kavachim Sofer rule that yogurt is considered a beverage regarding these halachot. The Letzion and Piskei Teshuvah concur with this, but they added that cream cheese does not does not need netilat yadayim. Apparently, they decided that cream cheese cannot be poured as yogurt, so therefore it's not a beverage. Meaning like this: a solid does not need. So cheese is a solid, cream cheese is a solid. The yogurt, right, or lebanon, that's a machloket. Do you know that I always told you that there's a big machloket between Rabbi and also a lot of other poskim. What exactly is like yogurt or lebanon? Why? Yogurt for sure depends which yogurt actually. Some of them are like more, like jet, like more not as runny, is not as liquidy. But some of them are very very liquidy. That for sure. There's nothing to talk about. But for example, even a lebanon, it's a question. Now, what's an nafkamina? The nafkamina is biracha charona. Why? If you tell me it's like a food, so therefore all you have to eat is 28 grams, right, in 6-7 minutes. If you tell me it's a liquid, so you have to have the 86 milliliters in almost one shot. So basically, it's going to be a huge difference in halacha l'maseh. There's another nafkamina also as well. That's to do with if it's a food or a liquid. We already learned in Hilchot Nida that a woman could come, a man could have the leftovers of his wife of food, but not of a liquid. So what is it? Is it a liquid or not? Also, at the end of a meal, if you're going to have yogurt or lebanon, whatever it is, at the end of a hamotzi meal, do you make shakol or not? If it's a solid, obviously not. But if it's going to be a liquid, right? Maybe yes. Right? There's a lot of nafkaminas. What exactly is it? So what they used to tell us to do is that when you take lebanon, mix it, because when you mix it, it becomes much more liquidy. At the beginning, it's more like a block. It's like more of a. But once you come and you start mixing it, it becomes much more liquidy. So there you have it. But here you have it. Okay, so cream cheese, no. But lebanon yogurt, yes. What about eating food dipped in a yogurt without touching the yogurt? So nowadays, the yogurt on the market is made from pasteurized milk. So it's considered a cooked beverage. Okay. Now he says, therefore, one may be lenient and eat the food dipped in the yogurt as long as one is careful not to touch the yogurt. Why? Because you have that you're not touching the yogurt with your hands and it's cooked. This is equal to the rule dipping cookies into coffee and taking care not to touch the part of the portion of the cookie. The Ben Ish Chai and the Rishon LeZion both rule lenient in such a case as explained in above halacha 40. And according to the Rishon LeZion, right, in the halacha 40 also, one must be lenient, right? Sorry, one must be stringent in this matter. The Lechabura also rules stringently. So basically, you have a machloket. What are you supposed to do when you have cookies in a tea? So you have a machloket. Some people are lenient and some people are stringent. What about less than a kazaita food dipped in yogurt? So if someone plans to eat less than a kazaita food dipped in yogurt, it's not necessary to do netilat yadayim because again, you have the leniency. Okay. The Birkat Hashem on the Lechabura, however, rules stringently. Also in this case above. What about with the granola? Yeah, you have granola. So he says here, it's not necessary to do nitilat yadayim to eat granola mixed with yogurt, since the food is always eaten with a spoon, and no one purposely touches the moistened granola. This is equal to the halacha of the breakfast cereals, as explained above, that we said that you don't need to do it. Okay, fine. Halacha 51. Yeah, nun aleph. Hamtabel davar ma'achal b'melach. What happens if you dip something in salt? Doesn't matter whether it's sea salt or if it's going to be right salt, which is whatever the other type. You don't need netilat yadayim. But what happens if it's going to be sea salt and it's going to be very moist? So there you have to be machmir. Look at 43, crystallized salt. So it says in the Mishnah rule that dry salt crystals are not considered a beverage, and therefore it's dry. If it's dry, there's no problem. So he says, what about moist salt? So the Derech HaChaim comes and he ruled that if someone dips food in a moist salt, he must perform netilat yadayim to eat the food. The Pri Megadim ruled that it is not necessary if the food is dipped into moist salt that was mined from the earth. The Bet Menucha ruled leniently in either case, arguing that the moist salt is one of the 7 beverages. The Petach David disagree with the ruling, right? And he says, what are you talking about? It's not one of the 7 beverages, and what does that mean? So he says the Kavalim Sover ruled that netilat yadayim is necessary if food is dipped in moist salt, even though the Lechabura ruled leniently. In practice, one should rely upon that there's going to be other factors as well, such as less than a kazait or avoid touching it, and then you don't have a problem again. Right? Remember, whenever you're trying to add more of the the reasons to be mekel, so you don't have that problem. Nun bet, yeah, עמוד 96. נון ב', השוטה, yeah, אתה שומע? השוטה, אינו צריך ליטול אפילו ידה אחת. We're talking about שוטה with a tav, yeah, not with a tet. So he says if somebody's drinking, right, they do not need to do נטילת ידיים. דלא אביא דנגע בידה במשקין שבתוך כלי, because you're not going to touch the liquid, לכן לא תגדול נטילה, so therefore you don't need to do נטילת ידיים. ולכן, אף אם יראה שנטל המשקין בידו, כגון שרב בידה מן ענב ושתה, even if you put it in your hands, you don't need נטילת ידיים, because they never made an institution for the שתייה. But if you're going to drink from the sea, so it is better, right, from the river, so it is better to do it, and then you're going to come and you're going to drink. He says, right? Tov lachmin, אבל זה לא חובה. This is a קו החיים. Let's look in the 44. Shulchan Aruch wrote that when Maran wrote in Shulchan Aruch, right? Siman Kuf Samechet Sivav, right? 158.6. That when drinking, it is not necessary to do netilat yadayim since people do not usually touch the beverage that they drink. One might deduce from this, right, that if someone wishes to drink by cupping his hands and scooping water from the river to his mouth, so therefore he should do netilat yadayim. Rabbi Ben Zimra overruled that it's not necessary. He says that he never heard anybody doing such a synergy. Our sages ruled that explained that was only that we must do netilat yadayim when eating a food dipped in a beverage, right? Not drinking a beverage. So the minute zaya davar shetibulo b'mashke. It's not that you're drinking a mashke. You're not drinking a drink. You're dipping.
Like the honey, put my finger in the honey. Yes, you need to wash.
Why? Why would you need to wash? At the end of the day, you're not dipping anything in the honey. You understand? Right? So next halacha, right? So he comes and he says now like this. He says, right, as follows. He says, despite this, the Kavachim Sover still recommended that it's possible that one should first immerse his hands in the river, right? And then, that's like a netilat yadayim, and then take the drink. Okay, again, this is the chumrah of the thing, and the halacha brura also recommended it. So again, technically you don't really need to do it, but if it's good. Tov lachmin. Fine. Last halacha, nun gimel. האוכל בשר צלי ואחר הצלי יש עליו מוהל תופח ממנו להפיח, אין צריך לטול ידיו, שאין המוהל יוצא מן הבשר נחשב משקה, it's not considered a משקה, meaning the meat sauce is not considered a משקה. ואף בי שקודם הצלייה, הדיחו, they rinsed it with water, right? He says it already dried up before the צלייה. So now whatever's coming out is not considered water. If it's not considered water, you don't have to do נטילת ידיים.